Hello and welcome to Tetra Football. I'm George, joined by Ryan yet again. I've called him up, not really got a plan for this video. We're just going to talk about sort of stuff that's going on in the world of football at the moment.
Okay.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on Chelsea's transfer business so far?
Well, I mean, Sterling, great signing. We need more of an attacking threat on the wings. I mean, Pulisic called the LeBron James of soccer. I don't care. He's not that good. So I think Sterling, good addition. And I heard
Koulibaly, what are your thoughts on that?
Great centre back. I mean, Thiago Silva will, with all his experience, improve Koulibaly even more.
I don't think Koulibaly is inexperienced. He's
well,
about 30
obviously
now.
not. But I mean, I think he will get him adapted to the Premier League quicker than expected.
He's a great physical centre back, isn't he? He's almost built for the Premier League already. And what are your thoughts on Roma next season? They've got an interesting project going on there under
Roma. I mean, I did see their signing of Dybala, and the fans loved him, and I just have to say that's a big thing about Roma. Their fans are outstanding. I just have to applaud them for that. And I think, did they get Europa League football?
I can't remember what competition they're in. I think they've automatically got Europa League. So they won the Conference League, as far as I know. But if you look at him, Jose Mourinho, he is a winner. He did win the Conference League last season. Obviously, it's not the biggest trophy ever, but he did win it. And the signing of Dybala is obviously going to strengthen them. Like, you've seen how much it means to the fans, to a massive club like Roma. Like, the Dybala, like, everything to do with him just went crazy with that club. And I think I also saw they brought in Gini Wijnaldum from PSG.
Oh, yes.
I can't remember if it's a loan or transfer, but a strong physical midfielder like him in the Serie A is only ever going to dominate. And as a Liverpool fan, I do really rate him, and it's disappointing his time in PSG didn't go that well.
I also saw they beat Tottenham Hotspur 1-0. And I looked at the lineups, and it's quite a strong side from Tottenham. And I mean, a side that's got Champions League football. I just think if they can beat them, they could even push for Champions League next year.
Yeah, well, a lot of people actually seem to believe that Roma could push for the title for Serie A, with AC Milan haven't been making too many big moves.
You know what?
Inter not making big moves either. The only one that's been making big moves is Juventus, and Juventus haven't been doing that well in recent seasons. So people believe there's an opening for Roma, especially with a manager as decorated as Mourinho. He's a top manager, and he's definitely a winner.
I think he definitely needs to play Abraham up with Dybala, because if they play them separately, I just think that could not work.
Well, I think the plan is basically Dybala's just going to create the chances for a striker like Abraham, who we know is just going to put them away after a brilliant last season.
I mean, that's I think a key reason to their success. The transfer of Abraham from Chelsea, which is another example of their poor transfer business, letting academy players, well, he's obviously not academy players, but young players go on so early. And another player that probably is going to leave quite early for Chelsea is Levi Cole. And I think it could be good, because they get Cucurella, as reports saying tonight. Fabrizio confirming it, but then Brighton Hove Albion saying in an official Twitter statement that they've had no agreement that Marc Cucurella will sign for a club. What do you make of that?
Well, Cucurella, I think a good signing for Chelsea would be, but I think letting Colwill go wouldn't be smart. But Cucurella, he is a great player. He's got to be Brighton's best player already, if you didn't argue that already, even with Bissouma there. And he's just a top quality wing back, and I think it would be unwise for Chelsea to constantly deploy him as a centre back, despite they're lacking in that position. But he can play there if needed, which makes his versatility good, especially if they can't guarantee him game time every week with Ben Chilwell there as well.
I mean, there was a debate on the group chat earlier with Joe and Thomas, obviously not being able to join us today, if Cucurella would be good at Chelsea. They said, we've already got too many wingers and left backs and right backs at Chelsea, so he wouldn't fit in with Chilwell not deserving to be on the bench, Cucurella not deserving to be on the bench. But I think he should slot into the left centre-back role for me.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that's exactly where he should be played, but I think overall it is good squad depth for Chelsea, but losing Colwill I think will be a big loss for them in the future. They have bought. Well, what is smart is they have put in a buyback clause for if he does go
Definitely.
to Brighton, if that transfer happens. So that gives them basically the first step. If any other clubs are interested, they get sort of the first priority in signing him, which is smart. But at the other end, it's not smart to be letting him go at all. I think a loan would be advisable, given some experience in the Prem. He's already proved himself in the Championship, but overall, I think that Colwill will be very good for whoever he goes to, and hopefully he doesn't get wasted on the bench.
I do want to talk about another big topic, and that is Manchester United. The transfer saga and Ronaldo saga. I mean, first off, Ronaldo seems like the dressing room, he's been upsetting them.
Yeah, like it's a weird situation at United because he suddenly said he's playing in pre-season again, but when he played, I think he got subbed off, or at some point he left halfway through. I don't know the exact story. But
Left
he
in the
just,
75th minute.
He just left. Like, I don't know what that was about at all. He's just not happy at the club, and it's ruining the slightly more positive stigma around the club at the moment with their new signings. And I think honestly, despite his legendary status, it would be smart for United to let him go. But now, Ryan, I want to ask you on a very hot topic at the moment, the debate between Haaland and Nunes. Liverpool and City's new star signings.
Well, it's 1-0 Nunes in my eyes. I mean, for the Community Shield, Haaland missing an open net, hitting the crossbar. Yes, maybe a bit unlucky, maybe there was a bubble, but I just think you can't miss an open net. And Nunes, I mean, it was only a tap in.
He scored, he created the chances, he won the penalty as well.
It was a great game from him. We didn't really get to see much of it because of the Brighton vlog, which you should go check out. It's also on our channel. But, I mean, from what I saw from the highlights, Nunes, really good player.
Really good, yeah.
But Haaland, he
didn't have a great game, no.
He didn't look like he was the player worth how much they paid for him.
And honestly, people were mocking Nunes in pre-season, which one is silly because it's pre-season. Like, Liverpool as a club, they've had terrible pre-season before the league. They went and won the title. So pre-season literally means nothing. It's just about fitness and getting shirt sales up in like more out there countries like, I don't know, Iran or something, and going out and playing
Well, I do want to say, Liverpool pre-season, James Milner, what a beast. He's won that pre-season test 6 years in a row now, I believe.
Since he's been at the club.
36 years old, and he's beaten some young lads, and I mean, it just shows his love for the game of football. And another topic I do want to discuss is, we talked about it earlier, Man United's transfer saga. I mean, Mark Goldbridge.
Martinez?
Well,
thoughts on Martinez, right?
5'10", he's a good centre-back. 5'10". I mean, I was watching Mark Goldbridge stream, and he was like, there's only been one player in the last 20 years to win the Ballon d'Or as a centre-back, and that was a 5'10" player. So I'm not going to mock him about his height, because that could prove wrong. I just think he's a class player. And also, I was watching Mark Goldbridge stream earlier today, talking about the situation with Glazers, and he thought they had a game plan and a little game that they were trying to convince people they still were going to get Frankie de Jong, and he said, I'm going to go along with the game, but once it fails, he's not going to be happy, and he's going to want the Glazers to leave his club. He's going to want to really get new owners.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they are choosing to back Ten Hag, which is the first time since Ferguson left, I think they properly backed a manager, which is smart. So a manager like Ten Hag, you see him, he's off the bench all the time. He's always up screaming at his players, telling them to do what's right, which is very good in the manager, and it's how he got Ajax to that semi-final years ago. And I also think if you look at Martinez as a signing, people may mock him because of his height. I'm not sure I've said this in a video yet, but I've definitely said it. The fact that he is quite small for a centre-back or CDM where he also plays, two of the most physically imposing places on the pitch where you need to win headers all the time. The fact that he can still play there and be a really good, high-rated centre-back just shows how much of an intelligent and technical player he is, and he should be a good signing.
Well, I just think that Ten Hag, if he got more transfers under his belt, he would definitely have a squad to push for Champions League football. But I think get stuck around that Europa League, Conference League,
Yeah.
around that point in the table where, I mean, yeah, it's
You
a
know,
great point.
What are your thoughts on Barcelona then with their signings, despite the fact they're supposed to be in depth? It's out of nowhere, isn't it? No one knows where they're getting that money
You
from.
know what I have to say is, last year they were in the mud. They had lost their best player, $1 billion in debt. And I'm just not thinking how they've got themselves out of all this debt. I'm just thinking, they're mugging everyone off. I just think, Koundé, why would you choose Chelsea? No, you didn't choose Chelsea. You would obviously choose Chelsea over Barcelona. I mean, it's Champions League football is more
I guess
likely.
he wanted to stay in Spain. That's the only reason for it.
I mean, Robert Lewandowski, maybe a bit more sense, but Rafinha, boyhood club. I mean, it's just they've mugged everyone off this transfer window. I just think someone needs to mug them off to show them who's really boss. And I hope someone does really mug them off, so then everyone can feel like, ha, who's the mug now?
Well, there's a bit of toxicity coming in
I'm
from
not-
a Chelsea
I'm not happy
fan
with
with them stealing all their signings, but honestly, you look at it and none of what Barcelona are doing is going to help them in the long term.
The thing is, they're not just
selling all their
mugging
rights.
us off. They're mugging Manchester United off as well with the Frankie de Jong. They're like, no, you know what? We'll wait. We'll do what we want. That's what they did with Koundé. They waited. They went, no, we'll wait for the player to come to us. We're so important. No, you're not. You're in $1 billion debt. You can't really be that smart if you're in $1 billion debt.
I think this is definitely a bit of annoyance from a Chelsea fan here, but if you look at Barcelona, they're not actually doing anything that will help them in the long run. They're doing things that will help them now, and the problem is if they don't achieve that short-term success, they've lost all their income in the future, which seriously puts the club at risk, and we honestly could see a downfall of Barcelona.
I honestly hope they go out in the Champions League group stage games, because they do not deserve to mug everyone else like this and get away with it.
Yeah, he's definitely not happy. But let's look through their signings. Koundé, I think he will be brilliant. He's already proved
Hope
himself.
he flops.
He's already proved himself in La Liga. Should be a good signing. Fairly young centre back. Rafinha also good, fairly young winger. Fits the Barcelona play style. You've got Lewandowski though, which I am not convinced by as a club.
Bad flop.
Barcelona do not typically sign target men forwards. They sign players that will drop back, help the midfield, join in the tiki-taka style, and someone like Lewandowski is not going to do that. He's going to wait in the box, and also think it's a weird club for him to go to, because since he's been at Bayern Munich, there's always been the links to Real Madrid, and to me, he's always seemed like a Galactico player, not a, is it Balagonera type? Is that the word for Barcelona?
Don't really care about Barcelona.
I don't think he fits the Barcelona play style.
Do you know what? It's not even they're mugging everyone, like the big clubs off. They're mugging their fans off because they're still pushing for the Super League. What do you think about the Super League? I know it was like a year ago now, but what were your initial thoughts about the news?
Well, it's definitely old news, and there's not really much point talking about it now, but I think the fact that it's like Juventus, Barca and Madrid are still in, that means there's something wrong at those clubs at the moment, and
I think
something needs to be done.
Just shows Barcelona's they're not a football club anymore. They're more of a business venture for their owners now. So it's quite annoying for me.
Yeah, and
I think you could tell that.
Yeah, I don't think you're too happy with Barcelona at the moment. Chelsea fan is a bit annoyed with them stealing their signings, but yeah, is there any other topics you can think of in world football you'd like to discuss?
No.
Maybe Nice, they've made some good signings. Ramsey, Schmeichel.
I mean, Leicester letting Schmeichel go, definitely their best player after 10 years at the club. I just, maybe it's project restart, maybe going for another league title, but I just don't think they can achieve it.
Yeah, well, my problem with Leicester and letting Schmeichel go is, one, he's an icon at that club, and two, from what I've seen in like transfer lists and stuff, they don't seem to have another goalie lined up. I haven't seen anyone they're linked with for a keeper. And unless they're planning on playing Danny Ward all season, which I really don't think is Premier League standard, then I'm not sure that it's looking too good for them in the goalkeeper position.
According to Joe,
who are they trying to get?
According to Joe, they're letting a god tier keeper go, so obviously it can't be that good of business.
Yeah, it's really, I don't think it's smart from Leicester, although I do understand them going for a younger team rebuild, especially with players like Kiernan Dewsbury Hall breaking through. He's had a brilliant pre-season, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, and I think honestly 2-3 years time he'll be one of the best just centre mids, not CDM or Cam, centre mid that England have alongside Bellingham. And I think honestly he could push for an England spot for Qatar, because why not? Who else is a out and out centre mid that's performing week in, week out for a decent sized club like Leicester?
Well, that was a great video. Sorry about all the negative about Barcelona, but I just don't think these big clubs should be letting them.
He's not happy. He's not happy. We need to shut him up. He's not happy. Yeah.
Well, remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below more video ideas.
And Ryan, why should they do that?
Because every little helps.
Thanks for watching.